Second, Padre Pio, the most serious warnings never come with fear. They arrive as a silent warning. And when that warning appears, it's no coincidence. Father Pio warned that God doesn't begin by drawing attention with chaos, tragedies, or visible signs. The first sign is internal. It's when the heart becomes too quiet, when the conscience no longer weighs heavily, when the soul ceases to react. Everything continues as normal on the outside, but something essential is silenced within. He said that the silence is not peace. It is a hidden danger. People continue living, working, smiling, making plans, but they no longer feel a spiritual urgency. Prayer disappears unnoticed. Repentance is postponed. Good and evil begin to seem the same. And that, for him, was the true warning. If Padre Pio is right, what makes 2026 frightening will not be what the world will see, but what many will not perceive. There will be no rush. There will be no panic. There will be too much normality, a profound silence before something that changes everything. Father Pio taught, when God speaks softly, it is because few are listening, and those who do not understand the warning while it is silent may not be prepared for what comes next. What exactly will be revealed is not yet being said, because, according to him, certain revelations only reach those who first acknowledge the silence. Padre Pio, God almost never begins by making a loud warning. He doesn't shout. He doesn't immediately frighten. He speaks softly. Padre Pio taught that the most important warnings come in silence, through simple, everyday things, those that almost no one pays attention to. He would quietly warn that before any major correction, God sends small signs, a weariness that doesn't go away, a sadness without a clear reason, the loss of the taste for prayer, the feeling of being distant even while living everything the right way. For Padre Pio, none of this was by chance. They were discreet warnings. The problem, according to him, is that spiritually weary people learn to live with these signs. They say it's stress, routine, age, normal life problems, and they move on. But Padre Pio said that God uses precisely these simple things because they speak directly to the heart, without frightening, without forcing. What Padre Pio was quietly warning about was this: when God begins to speak in silence, it is because there is still mercy, there is still time. Silence is the last precaution before something harsher. It's like a gentle knock on the door before it closes. For him, those who are weary inside need to stop and listen, because when the signs become too obvious, they are no longer warnings, they are consequences. And Padre Pio repeated, those who learn to listen to God's silence do not need to learn through pain. Life moves too fast, and almost everyone has learned to think that's normal. People wake up already tired, even after sleeping. The day starts in a rush, with messages, bills, appointments. They eat quickly, answer everything in a hurry, solve problems all the time. When they realize it, it's already night, and the body lies down, but the mind doesn't rest. She says it's just a phase, that everyone goes through this, that it's work, family, routine. The heart gets used to always being busy, always full, always without time. And what once made sense, silence, prayer, conversation with God, gets pushed aside, not out of malice, out of exhaustion. Most people live like this. About 80% of people spend their days like this, thinking it's normal to feel empty at the end of the night, thinking it's normal not to feel like praying, normal not to feel that simple peace from before, normal to live on autopilot. People don't see themselves as distant from God. They just see themselves as too busy. They don't feel guilt. They don't feel fear. They just keep going. And precisely because of that, they don't notice when something starts to be missing. The soul takes a backseat, while external life never stops. Nothing seems wrong. Everything works. But inside there's a silent weight, a weariness that can't be explained by rest alone. And many live like this for years, without realizing that this constant pace may be silencing something essential. Because when life rushes by too fast, almost no one notices when the heart is left behind. For Padre Pio, the most dangerous mistake is not the one a person makes consciously, it's the one they commit without realizing. It thinking everything is fine. It's not a visible sin. It's not something serious in the eyes of the world. It's a silent absence. Most people don't do evil. They work, take care of their families, try to be righteous, and so they believe they are spiritually secure. But the invisible error lies elsewhere, in what they fail to do. They fail to stop. They fail to listen. They fail to speak with God. They fail to care for their own souls. Father Pio warned that spiritual estrangement almost never begins with a clear decision. It begins when prayer becomes the exception, when silence becomes bothersome, when a person says, "I'll pray tomorrow, I'll think about it later." There's no time now. Nothing seems wrong, but something essential is being postponed. This mistake doesn't cause fear. It doesn't hurt in the moment. On the contrary, it hides in routine, in tiredness, in normality. The person continues living, but without nourishing what sustains them from within. And little by little, the soul grows weak without anyone noticing. Father Pio said that many are lost not because they chose the wrong path, but because they failed to choose the right path every day. The invisible error doesn't shout, it only waits. And when a person realizes it, they are often already too far away to hear clearly. When the soul grows weary, the consequence doesn't appear all at once. It arrives slowly, almost unnoticed. It doesn't come as a shock, nor as fear. It comes as a cooling, as a slight confusion, as a sadness that has no name. Faith begins to lose its warmth. The person still believes but no longer feels it. They still know what is right, but no longer have the strength to live. Prayers become short, rare, sometimes empty, not out of rebellion, but out of weariness, a weariness that doesn't go away with sleep. Over time, the mind becomes confused. Simple things begin to weigh heavily. Small decisions turn into suffering. The person feels lost without knowing why. Everything seems normal on the outside, but inside there is a constant restlessness, a feeling of being out of place, even when in one's own space. Father Pio said that this is the most silent consequence. The soul grows cold without realizing it. There is no sudden fall. There is distance. The person continues walking, but far from the source that sustained them. And the more time passes, the harder it becomes to explain the growing emptiness. Sadness arises without a clear reason. It's not despair, it's a lack of meaning. It's as if something important is missing, but no one can say what it is. For Padre Pio, this was a sign that the soul was asking for care. Because when spiritual weariness is ignored, it doesn't disappear, it deepens in silence. The soul can be compared to a house, a simple house, with doors, windows, and light. When the light is on, everything is easy to see. You know where to step. You know what is clean and what needs care. But when the lights go out, the house doesn't disappear. It's still there, it just gets dark. The furniture becomes an obstacle. Dust starts to accumulate. You walk slowly, stumble, stomp your foot, but you don't understand why. It's not because the house is bad, it's because there's no light. Father Pio explained that the soul works in the same way. When prayer disappears, when silence with God ends, it's like turning off the lights in the house. Nothing explodes. Nothing breaks instantly. It just gets dark. And in the dark, even what was good begins to seem confusing. Dust represents weariness, nameless sadness, easy irritation. It doesn't appear overnight. It accumulates little by little. And because it's dark, nobody notices. The person thinks everything is normal, but they can't see properly anymore. For Padre Pio, God is that simple light. It is not noise. It is not fear. It is clarity. When the light is on, even dirt is easy to clean. When it is off, the house becomes heavy to live in. And most importantly, turning on the light is simple. It doesn't require force. It only requires a decision. because the house was never empty, it was just dark. Second, Padre Pio, the path to overcoming spiritual weariness was never complicated. He always repeated that God doesn't ask for difficult things, he asks for true things. A simple gesture, done with sincerity, is worth more than long promises that are never fulfilled. Padre Pio taught that the first step is not to change your whole life, nor to understand everything. It is to return with an open heart, even tired, even confused, even without beautiful words. For him, a short prayer made with truth has more power than many words spoken without attention. He said that one shouldn't wait to feel like it to pray or draw closer to God. The desire arises after the act, not before. Therefore, he advised something very simple. Stop for a moment, acknowledge your own weakness, and speak to God as one speaks to a father, without fear, without long excuses. This advice was always repeated. Do not postpone what is essential. Do not leave the care of your soul for tomorrow. Do not wait for a greater sign. For Padre Pio, whoever takes a small step today already breaks the dangerous silence that forms inside. His tone was firm, yet welcoming. He reminded everyone that God doesn't tire first. It is the human soul that tires. And precisely for that reason, the simple gesture made now can rekindle the light that seemed extinguished. Today, it is still possible. Today, it still matters. When the warning is silent, the response needs to be simple and immediate. It's not something for later, it's for now. He advised that anyone, even tired and confused, can take 3 small steps that already change course. First step, stop, to truly stop. Even if just for a minute, turn off your cell phone, be silent, breathe deeply without asking for anything, without explaining anything, just stop. For Padre Pio, this moment breaks the rush that silences the soul. Second step, to understand, to perceive the state of the heart, tired, empty, confused, cold, not to judge, not to be afraid, just to acknowledge. He said that God begins to act when a person has the courage to look inside without running away. Third step, act immediately. Speak to God in whatever way you can, a simple phrase, a short request, a sincere, I'm here. You don't need to kneel, you don't need to know how to pray beautifully, you just need to not procrastinate. Father Pio warned that these 3 steps may seem small, but they have real power, because the greatest danger is not making a mistake. It's continuing to walk without stopping, without realizing it, and without acting. Those who do this today don't need to wait for silence to turn into pain tomorrow. Padre Pio, when God warns in silence, that is still mercy. It is the last act of care before the soul needs to learn in another way. But he was warning of something even more serious. There is a spiritual error more dangerous than ignoring the signs, and almost no one realizes when they fall into it. This mistake happens after the silence, when a person gets used to the emptiness, when they think it's normal to feel nothing, when they are no longer bothered by the inner distance. For Padre Pio, this is the most delicate point, because the heart stops reacting. He used to say that as long as there is discomfort, there is still hope. As long as the silence is unsettling, God is still calling. But when even the silence no longer hurts, something very serious begins to form inside. This warning is not meant to frighten, but to awaken, because there is still mercy. There is still time. If this message has reached this far, it wasn't by chance. According to Padre Pio, God doesn't use coincidences when he wants to touch a weary heart. He uses simple words at the right time, in a way that the soul can hear. Perhaps something tightened inside. Perhaps a phrase kept echoing silently. That's already a sign, not of fear, but of care. Because when the message resonates, it's because there's still time. There's still a way, there's still real hope. Padre Pio taught that reflection is the first step in conversion. It's not necessary to understand everything immediately. It's enough not to ignore it. It's enough to allow the heart to think, even in silence, about what has been heard. If this message spoke to you, write back. Amen. Leave a comment. not as an empty ritual, but as a simple sign that you listened, that something awakened. And subscribe to the channel, because these messages aren't meant to scare. They're meant to prepare, guide, and care for the soul before silence becomes distance. Stay. Walk together. The next warning might be exactly what you need to hear.
Hear the true prophetic message.